we're gonna use this opportunity to build our inner capacity. And this is what we do in our sessions. So the goal is not to overcome all the fears, all the triggers and traumas, because it's impossible. But the life is actually giving us opportunity each and every day to build our inner capacity. Because if we have the capacity to handle the situations from our outer world, then we can actually live this life in accordance to our potential and experience all the beautiful things that can be experienced around us. So yeah, this is the opportunity for us to recall the situations which were unpleasant, when we had some difficult conversations, or the people that we had problems communicating with, or that were verbally attacking us, or maybe getting us into the situation with passive aggression or cynical comments, or even silent treatment. So all these situations actually move us from our center position and get us to react. And what happens is actually that our intentions get blurred and we don't know how we're going to react. And usually our inner problems come out from our mouth into the external world and make things even worse. So what we want actually is to avoid it, but in a way that we keep our intention intact. And yeah, so if somebody wants to turn on the camera, I would appreciate it, at least one person, so I have a better feeling talking to a person. But you don't have to if you don't feel like it. Yeah, so people are coming in closely. Yeah, thanks, Lucky. The bravest. Yeah, and do that. Okay, so I'm gonna use this break while you turn your camera and eating something. If you can still write down the initials of the person that you imagine first when we are talking about difficult conversations. When we are talking about some verbal attacks or some unpleasant things which can happen when you are having conversation with somebody. So maybe just initials, if you prepared already. Yeah. And now I would invite you to imagine the conversation with this person. Like when the moment is heated and you experience something unpleasant, just memorize it in your mind and just write down, please, the number from 1 to 10. How do you feel in your body now? 1 is completely relaxed, zen, and 10 is like, your nervous system is screaming. So from 1 to 10, when you really feel, and go into this situation, it can be your colleague, it can be your boss, your wife, spouse, or whatever that you can think of, which first comes on your mind. So how do you feel, actually? And now write A or B. A being the situation in which the person is screaming at you, yelling, really unpleasant behavior, really aggressive behavior. And the B is person is actually passive aggressive, maybe some sarcastic comments, or even the silent treatment. What bothers you more? So is it A, somebody being aggressive in the conversation, or B, somebody being passive aggressive? Maybe you can also write down in the chat if you feel like it, A or B, just to see generally what nervous systems tell us about the person. because we all have different triggers, different nervous systems. Okay, for Uta is A. For me is B, for example. I really feel worse when somebody is passive aggressive, then it's really opening and confronting me. Okay. So the fact is that we cannot control how somebody can, act, but what we can control is our reaction, our response to it. And this is what we're going to practice today, because actually in the verbal conflict, maybe you notice that it's not that always the one who have better arguments wins. It's usually the state of the person who is in this conversation really wins. And you can only win if your state is like more calm than the other. It's more about the fight on an energetic level that it's on the verbal level. It's just that we don't notice it unless we are aware. So what we're going to do today is the 4R protocol for difficult conversations or when you are verbally attacked. So I will go through this really slowly so that you can understand. So there is a verbal attack, and then usually people react to it. So this is like the zero level of inner capacity. You are being attacked and you are reacting, usually verbally, but also it can be in any other way. But what we want to accomplish is really a different loop. So somebody says, it's my voice is not loud enough. Because my microphone is on the camera, I'm gonna bring the camera. Is it loud? Okay, thank you, Nana. Okay. So what we want to do is first be aware how we receive this hit. So we are receiving this energy, we are receiving the attack. So it's like in martial arts. How do you receive the attack? So this is what we're gonna do. And then to see if we need to regulate. So to regulate our nervous system, so we don't respond in a way that is not appropriate to the situation and to our intention. So first R is receive, then is regulate. And then the third is to remember. So we are using the opportunity when we regulate, we calm down, we just focus our awareness on what is our attention of this conversation. So the third is remember. And the fourth R is respond. So we want to respond adequately from our center, from our grounded position, and not react. We actually want to respond and make a response which is in alignment with our goals, without our intention, which we recalled in the previous step. So it's receive, regulate, remember, and respond. And we're going to go through this loop so you will understand what you need to do and we can practice it, and it's very useful. So let's start with the first phase of this protocol. And I would like to ask you to close your eyes, relax on your chair, make a couple of deep inhales and exhales. Just feel the surface beneath your feet and the surface beneath your hands. And relax. And now we're going to recall in our mind the situation with the person that you had a verbal conflict with. Maybe you were verbally attacked or it was a difficult conversation. The person that you wrote initials when we started. So imagine actually this person sitting across of you and the conversation gets really heated and you recalling the verbal attack that you experienced. And now, first notice what your automatic verbal reaction pattern normally is. So, would you say something, whether it's your colleague, boss, I don't know, spouse, partner, kids, whatever? What's your initial verbal reaction? How do you respond? Do you attack back or do you keep quiet or passive aggressive? What is your ego doing when you are attacked? And now notice, how do you like your reaction? Do you think that maybe a different way could be more appropriate? And stay with it. Now get back to the person across of you and get another impact, another verbal attack. And now focus on your body. Do a quick scan of the parts of the body which now are asking of your attention. Where do you feel the biggest sensation in your body at the moment? Where is the tension? Maybe it's a contraction in your stomach. Maybe your throat is tightened. Maybe there are tensions in your jaw, face muscles, maybe in the chest. So notice how your body initially reacts when you are verbally attacked. Maybe there are some parts which get cold, maybe there are some parts which get warm. Maybe there are more parts at once which are seeking your attention. So give it the attention, but try not to judge. Try not to go into the analysis. Just receive this as information. You're just being hit by the words, the verbal attack, and now your body reacts. Our goal is to be able to stay within this feeling, these sensations, and not react right away. And just observe it as a scientist, what is happening in particular parts of your body. How do they react? If it's too unpleasant, you can just make a deep inhale and then exhale through this part of the body and try to relax it. This is the first part of receive the hit, and it's the crucial. So we are not in our mind trying to figure out what we're gonna say next and release this energy which is getting up in our body. We just bring our attention for a few seconds on the sensations in our body. And now we go even further. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a deep inhale, like 3 or 4 seconds, but we're gonna open our chest while doing it. So we can do together, like breathe in, 2, 3, 4, open your chest, and then with breathe out, fully relax. Breathe in, you open your chest, and then with breath out, you fully relax. So we call this soft front. So what is important, you continue doing this, opening your chest and breathe out, fully relax while I'm speaking. So what we try to accomplish is not to bring a wall between us and the person that we are talking to, because this is the initial reaction of the most people. If we want to stay in contact, and we need to, if we want to connect with the person, then we need to stay open. Because what we do usually under the stress, no matter what kind of stress, we close. And when we close, then the energy stops flowing. And this is how we get into anxiety, depression states, and so on. So the crucial thing is to stay open up front. But we need to set the boundary. So now, with your next breathe out, you're gonna imagine, like while you're breathing out, your spine is becoming like the spine of steel. We are building now on our back, so we are moving our energy a bit on the back, and we are building the wall behind us, which is backing us up, and this is our boundary. So this is what brings us the safety. We are stable. So soft front, when you inhale, you open your chest. When you exhale, you relax, but you feel your spine. You are making a new wall which supports you. And while being open and enabling the flow of energy, you still set the boundary. There is something which protects you on the back. So this is very important to practice. So may continue with your breaths in, opening up, and then breathe out, and you feel your back. And you can even imagine this spine of steel. This is your border. So go and continue with the exercise, which calls soft front, strong back, and receive the hit. So you imagine now this person and you are verbally attacked, but you just continue breathing and you are opening your chest. When you breathe in, you're letting the air coming through your lungs all the way to alveolus. So you are making it not too strange to this person that you are talking to, but you are inhaling like for 3 seconds, for example, and then exhale should be twice as long than that. You can exhale and through your nose or your mouth. Use the opportunity to relax in every exhale, but you are setting up a boundary with back shift. So what's important is that you are aware of the situation, but at the moment you don't focus on the words that this person is saying, which are unpleasant for you. You are first focusing on your inner state, on the sensations in your body, and then you focus on not contracting and not closing, but opening your chest, but still setting the boundary on your back. So this is what I call the Aikido move. You know, you are seeing this person, and you can even tell this person, like you imagine now telling this person, I can see your frustration. I see your anger, but I'm not taking it in my nervous system. And you are feeling their energy passes you. So you are not getting it in your body, you're not getting this energy in your system. You are allowing energy to move past you, like in Aikido. So this is how you receive the hit. It's very simple. First, focus a couple of seconds on the sensations in your body, and then focus to open up your chest and imagine the strong back, spine of steel. This is where your border is. Okay, so you can open your eyes and write down what was your initial reaction, verbal reaction in this exercise. Just a few words. What would you say to this person who attacked you, if you remember? And then please write down what sensations did you feel in your body and where were they placed mainly? Is it your chest? Is it your stomach, your jaw, face muscles, your neck, your throat, so your shoulders? It's very important to observe your reaction and recall it and write it down, please. Okay, let's move on to the next phase, and this is regulate. So sometimes it's not necessary. If you practice this protocol enough, maybe you wouldn't even need to go into this phase and you would just jump to the phase remember. Regulate is used not only in this uh, protocol. Maybe you recall we did it also when we had this practice solving this hard decisions or like dilemmas and other challenges that we have. So basically, we can regulate in many ways, but what we're going to choose today is the ways which are not obvious to the person that we are talking to. All right. So also this first part should be discreet because you want to keep the flow and not, seem too weird. And now if you need to jump into the regular part, we're going to do two practices. First is how to ground ourselves really fast. And the second is the exercise maybe you heard of in our previous sessions is pendulum. Is how to anchor ourselves to the parts of us which is stable, which is calm. And in this way, calm the other parts of us which are under the stress. So I'm going to ask you now to again close your eyes. Just relax in your chair. Make a couple of deep breaths. And now recall the situation of the difficult conversation when you were verbally attacked. Imagine this person right in front of you and behaving in a way that you really don't appreciate. That's very unpleasant for you. And now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna focus on our feet. So press the feet on the floor. Feel the ground. Feel the ground that it's firm and it doesn't move. So this is your stable point now. Now bring the focus to your pelvis and make a couple of breaths in your lower belly. You can do 3 seconds inhale, 6 seconds exhale, or 4, 2, or 2, 4, or like 4, 8. And now, while you're breathing out, imagine that through your feet, you can feel your roots getting into the ground. You can actually imagine that you have the roots like the tree, and they're getting into the ground below you. Every time you breathe out, these roots are getting into the ground faster and faster. And you can now imagine they're getting all the way to the center of the earth and getting this energy of this heated ball in the center of the earth and soaking up this energy. And this energy is getting through your roots all the way back to the feet and then through your legs, pelvis, stomach, all the way in your chest, neck, head, your arms, and the whole body. So we can go all the way. We can just imagine the roots and getting into ground and feel the heaviness of the ground, feel the warmth of the ground and feel that we are grounded now. We feel stable in this situation when we are under attack. But you can also go all the way down to the center of the earth, even get some of its energy, to help you and rise you up within this situation. So basically, in this part of the loop of the 4R protocol, in the heat of the conversation, of the difficult conversation, your energy is going to flow up. Those are like your triggers. There are some traumas maybe from before, and this energy wants to come up. It gets you in your heart and you feel stressed. But now what we don't want to suppress this energy. We just want to be able to handle it. And that's why we lower our center of gravitation. So that's why we are grounding ourselves by focusing on the feet and the roots. And now when you focus on your roots, you feel grounded. And you can actually, in the heat of the conversation, when you feel you are challenged, maybe you're getting into the fight or flight mode, you want to attack, you want to back up, or you freeze, you just imagine these roots and you will anchor yourself into the grounded position and grounded state. And while being the grounded, we're going to do one more exercise, regulation exercise. It's called the pendulum. So it's the swing. So pendulum is when we want to focus our attention on the parts of our body which are stable. So now imagine this person verbally is attacking you, and you can feel that some parts of your body, like in first exercise, are under the stress. You can feel different sensations, heat, there's some maybe a small pain, or like there is a part of you that is nervous. But again, now try to find a part of you which is stable, which is calm. It can be your left elbow, for example. Focus your attention on the left elbow for the moment and feel how stable it is, how calm it is. Or focus your attention to your right knee Feel how stable it is. Or maybe your left foot. Press it firmly, on the ground. Feel this resistance of the ground. Feel how your foot is calm and stable. And now, if you feel the tension, for example, in your jaw or in your heart, in your stomach, just for the 2 seconds, bring your attention back to your stomach or the part of you which is under the stress, and then go back to the calm part of the body, stable part, and make a breath in and breath out through this stable part. And now go back to this part which is under the stress. And now breathe through the part which is calm. Focus on it and breathe through. And you will see that part which is under the stress is being regulated via part which is calm and stable. So we are teaching our nervous system not to be afraid of the discomfort, but be with it without getting stuck in it. So we don't allow our mind now to analyze, to judge, what's happening now, why am I so nervous, whatever. No, we just put the focus of our mind on the stable element, and then we just bring it out for a glimpse of a time, like a couple of seconds, maybe 1 second, and then go back and breathe with the stable part. This all you can do within 10 seconds, this regular part, when you are verbally attacked. So just get to your stable part and make a breath through it. And then if you feel the sensation which is bothering you in your heart, stomach, just make a glimpse, then go to the stable part, just maybe 2 or 3 times, and you will get calmer. And if you can also remember to imagine the roots, pressure the ground below your feet with your feet, and just imagine your roots. And that's it. You're grounded, you're centered, you're regulated. You're ready for the next phase. Next phase is the remember phase. So generally, when we are attacked, most of us experience something which is called goal amnesia. We forget what we want from the situation. Our nervous system goes into sympathetic mode, and we just want to fight, or we want to flight, or we freeze. So we want to bring all the things from outside, in our surroundings. But usually that's the problem, because then the other person becomes reactive and brings more shit from the inside to the outside. And while this process is going on, we both person forget what was the initial intention. And unless the goal is actually to release the stress through really, really unpleasant communication, which sometimes is the case. And with my wife, I actually have to play this game because she feels frustrated and she wants to argue. I don't want to argue, but I feel after some time of being calm and present that she's heated even more because she really needs it. So then I say something, "You're not right." And then I can almost see the smile in her, eyes. And it's like, "What are you saying?" And so on. I'm being calm, but I'm just playing this game because sometimes it's a game. So when you are regulated and when you know what your intention is, what your goal is, you can even get to see what the intention of the other and what the other person needs. So you can even regulate this other person with your calmness, or sometimes, if it's like really necessary, you get into the fight, but really it's fight which has some boundaries, which you can really lead and you can really uh, be responsible of. So you don't want to make more harm. You want to make this person able to calm down and then be responsive to what you want to say. And this is what is the master level actually of all of this, what we are doing is to regulate the other person. And you can really do it only when you regulate yourself. Because then when you are like calm, you are actually the center of the tornado, and all the other people around you, they're gonna be attracted with your energy, and then they're gonna be regulated by your state. So what you want to do when you regulate, as I said, not have a goal amnesia, but you will have a time then, couple of seconds just to recall what I really want from this conversation. Okay? So I'm gonna ask you again to close your eyes. Please make a couple of deep breaths in, and on the exhale, use the opportunity to fully relax and release. Imagine the person across of you verbally attacks you. But now, just remember, open up your chest with breath in. With breath out, imagine your wall, your spine of steel. You are backed up by this boundary. Imagine your roots. And now focus on a place in your body which is stable and calm. Your knee, your elbow, whatever you feel like, your foot, whatever it is, your thumb, I don't care. There are so many places which are totally calm in your body. And now from this place, actually visualize what is your goal when you are verbally attacked, when this happens. Imagine the real person and like, what is the real goal? If you are centered and grounded, you're gonna get this message. So maybe it's to set a boundary. Maybe it's to finish the conversation calmly for the first time. Maybe it's to preserve the relationship, to gather information, to protect your reputation, whatever it is. Just be aware what your intuition is telling you, what is the best for you regarding this person. And when you imagine you're verbally attacked, what's your goal? So now you can, if you're ready, open your eyes and write down my ego in these conflicts usually does this, or this is my goal. So remember and recall what was your goal first time that we did the exercise, how you verbally respond, and just write how was it back then. And now write down my actual goal in these situations should be this, and write it down. What came to during the exercise. Okay? Observe how it differentiates to what the initial goal of the ego was. Maybe with your verbal response to hurt this person, to make her sorry for this or him, so whatever. And what now, when you center and ground, what your goal is? And then we going to the final phase, and this is respond. And I will ask you again to close your eyes, make 3 breaths, use the opportunity to relax on your exhale. And imagine again the person and the situation when you are verbally attacked. Imagine this person saying the things that you really don't like, which are hurting you, and which are initiating sensations in your body. And now let's do it fast, like you would do it in your real conversation and situations when you're verbally attacked. Just map the sensations in your body. Make a breath in, open up your chest. On your breath out, imagine the spine of steel. Imagine your wall, your boundary. Now just imagine the roots below your feet and focus your attention on a stable part of your body, one which feels calm. Go back to the sensation that you are feeling in the body a bit, and then breathe out through the stable part of your body. You can even use the opportunity to breathe in through your chest, for example, if you feel the tension there, and breathe out through your left knee, for example. Now recall your goal. See this person and now respond, not react, but respond in a way that is adequate to situation and that is adequate to your goal. And since you are all muted, if you are doing this exercise with me, you can actually respond now. You can imagine this person and being grounded and centered. This person is attacking you verbally, but how would you respond? And you don't have to say anything. You can respond with just silence and presence and calmness or a smile. So what's coming? You can be humorous. You can make a reflection. You can have a question or whatever. What comes to you now? How would you respond? And notice how you are responding. Is it more calmer? Is it slower? Is it more authoritative? What is different than the initial response in the first practice? So you are not attacking anymore, you're not defending, you just simply speak your truth from your center. And imagine now, while you're responding this, reaction of this person. Then what might he or she say might be trigger you again, but then you again use some of the regulation that we did, get a hit, so receive it in a proper way, and now respond again. Notice your body. If you did the exercise today and went through all of these exercises, you will feel that your inner capacity is much higher. And even though there might be some sensations, you can handle them very well. And it really starts to feel good with all of this breath and focus on our body. And you are getting more comfortable with this situation. You're getting the confidence that whatever happens in the conversation, you'll be able to handle it and respond according to your attention. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes, make a big, deep breath, and please write down what is your response. Like, what was your initial response that came to you when you recalled your intention and you were called to make a response? Okay? So if you are finished, I need to make a disclaimer. Okay, what we did is very powerful protocol which can help you in 99% of the situations when you are verbally attacked. But in like small number of situations which can happen in your life or with small number of people, it cannot really make the different outcome than you just leaving, which sometimes is the best way to do when you are dealing with a person who is totally dysfunctional, who wants to manipulate you, who makes you feel unsafe. So you can build your inner capacity to handle these situations, to even be in this relationship. But with this inner capacity, you will also gain the power to relive this relationship, to change the place, to change your surroundings, to change the job, change the environment. So this is also why we are doing this. Sometimes people get so much inner capacity that they really don't feel that they are in a toxic relationship anymore, and then they are stuck. But the life is not about just being able to handle everything and not getting anything. So it's about the exchange of the energy. So if there is no possibility to get something, even if you build your capacity and you try to regulate the other person, then maybe it's not the relationship that you should be in. And this is the disclaimer. So don't try to be a hero always in any situation, even if you build up your capacity with this protocol or other exercises that we are doing. So there is always opportunity, just leave. And the other thing, while you are practicing this, if you feel that in any moment you are beyond your capacity, again, just leave and you can come back later. It's also very powerful. Of course, if you really care about a certain relationship, you cannot just leave every time, right? So you should be there. That's why we are doing this. Okay. So now I just want to give you again the homework, one micro step that you should do for the next time. So choose one person that you will have difficult conversation with. Maybe you are postponing some conversation for a longer time. Okay. So now write the name of the person which comes to your mind first that you are postponing conversation with for quite a long time, but make it not be your boss or somebody that you depend on heavily while you're practicing, or it doesn't have to be the most difficult conversation yet. So just just write the name which you were postponing conversation with, but it's not crucial. And then in next couple of days, let's say week top, just organize this conversation. And before that, practice this 4-hour loop. I will post this video for you so you can go through it a bit and make this conversation. Okay? You know the drill. Receive properly. Focus on your sensations. Focus opening up your chest. We need the empathy, we need the connection. When we communicate with somebody, we cannot just put the wall, nothing's going to happen, but just have your wall on the back to back you up, to make you stable. Focus on your roots, focus on the stable place on your body, and then just speak your truth according to your intention that you became aware. You give yourself space and time to become aware, okay? And the next session, I'm going to talk more about how to regulate the other person, because this is the master level. This is what I do in my conscious leadership program. It's master level. And this is like when you are doing the favor for the other people around you, which are under the stress, because nobody really wants to be mean and wants to be aggressive. Is because they're also having their inner disturbances and problems, and they don't know what you know. They don't know to regulate themselves. So how to help them in these situations, right? That's the next level. Whoever wants to contact me regarding one-on-one sessions, smaller groups, direct problems which you have, I'm open for this. I would be privileged to do this with you. And this brings us to the end of the session.